So I'm showing you on the overhead right now fluid.ui.com, which is actually in the in-class. It's also in the take-home. The link that I give you in the in-class and in the take-home both is to one of the links is to this prototype I'm currently doing for Stenstrom, creating an app for them using Fluid UI. And you'll notice, they can go through and they can click on a simulated interface to get around the app and what it is that they want to accomplish with the app. Anyway, let me show you the interface. This is what it looks like. So on the interface, when you add in your pages, and I am recording this too, by the way. When you add in your pages, you double click on it just like you would in your storyboard. But then it has over here a whole bunch of objects, wireframe objects. I suggest selecting from the wireframe whatever type of app you're going to be creating, whether it be iPad or iPhone, or maybe just iOS 7, which gives you kind of a little bit of everything. But it gives you backgrounds to choose from, bars with status bars, toolbars, layouts like maps, list views, scroll views, shapes, buttons, whole bunch of controls.
This is free?
Totally free.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, there's a paid version of it. Past so many pages, you have to pay for it. Take about up to one project you can get free on this one. They give you one project. If you want to have more than one project, you have to pay for it. Yep. So yeah, it's a great thing for one project. But what's great about it is, say you create this, which I've done for Stenstrom, you then are allowed, once you get everything to like you want it, because what I did was I met with them. They told me what they wanted on a little piece of paper and some napkins and some drawings and whatever, and on their phone and stuff, some other apps that they've looked at they liked. I put that together. This literally took me about an hour to put together. That's it. But I have used this a number of times, Fluid UI. But once you use it, it's real easy to use. It's drag and drop interface. And then when you want to hook things together, it's real easy to use, because I'll show you an example here. I can take and say I want to select this here. Let me get one I know I didn't hook anything into, like say this here. Say news I wanted to bring over here or something. I click on this object and I click on this link, and then I tell it where I want it to go in my project. So I want to go to, I don't know, this page here, which I wouldn't, but we'll say that. So now whenever I run this app, it gives me a nice QR code to give them. I can email them this link. It's loading here. And then there's that new hotspot I just created on the page. Might have been on another page actually. There it is. So the new hotspot's working that I just created. But what's cool about it is, once you create your UI for this with Fluid UI, you can send them the link, and then they can basically make comments. They do have a portion here called social. The social actually just lets you basically share it to maybe a private Facebook page that you could create for that customer. The way I want you guys to use it is, I know most of you are doing yours individual projects, but if you were doing it in groups, you basically give it to everybody in your group. You generally have one person doing it, driving it, right, and then everybody else giving you feedback, and you're making changes basically dynamically on the Fluid UI. So I don't expect this to be totally completed in the next week, but I want to, at least see you get started with it, with a main screen, your name or whatever of the app, and you can start throwing in some functionality of it. And what's cool about it is it's simulated. Number one, there's no code behind it. But you get to kind of see where you want your objects to be and how you want things to flow in your program. Does that make sense? That's the whole purpose of it. That's it. And so once everybody checks off on it, and they've checked off on your screen flow for it and your prototype, then and only then should you begin developing. That make sense? And so, you might spend a week or 2 or 3 weeks or a month on prototyping, which is common to do. But the more prototyping you do, the better the app comes at the end. The more time you're actually spending developing on things that you should be developing. Because if you don't prototype, what happens is, or you spend a little time prototyping, you end up having to force yourself to prototype, but you're doing it through iterations of code releases versus something as simple as this. Does that make sense? So instead of 1,000 lines of code I'm having to rip out to change something, I'm just changing something on a simple form, just a drag and drop object. Does that make sense? So the best way to do it is just to, click on the link I've given you in the take home, set up an account. It'll let you do one project, and I believe you can add on the one project you just released it, where you can add pretty much as many objects as you want. I think it's up to 10 pages, which I think from looking at what you guys gave me, that should be okay. Because if I try to add more in this, I think it tells me, yeah, maximum upgrade. And so, definitely worth looking into, definitely worth playing with, and it will help you in your development process for sure. Because for your take home, you're basically doing what you guys did tonight, but it's going to be your own from scratch. In the link for the take home, I give a direct link to the GitHub account. I also give a direct link to the instructions, which is a Word document. They give you step-by-step of how to do the app from start to finish. I include in the step-by-step the comment stuff I commented out and the stuff that I added in the code. Okay? And then you'll always have the video as well. So, Fluid UI, have fun with it. I think you'll enjoy it. I've enjoyed it, and I've been using it for about the last year and a half and really like it. So what I do is basically just create a brand new account for each person or each company, because I create a Gmail for that account, for that project I'm creating. And then with that Gmail, I set up Fluid UI, which I know I get one free project. So it doesn't cost a company anything, doesn't cost me anything. Now, if they go beyond 10, it costs them something, but if it's within 10, it doesn't cost them anything, and it's something that you can utilize quickly. And what's really impressive to clients is, in my case, I met with them on a Monday. No, I take it back. They emailed me what they wanted on a Friday. I met with them on a Monday with this to show them, and they could actually play with it on their iPhone and their Droid in the meeting. Live, they could play with it and tell me what they like, what they didn't like. And so, kind of cool. And so, it will help you in your formation of placement of things and how things should flow. And so, yeah, that's what you're doing this week for Take Home. So, questions? Okay?
Okay, so our take home is we're playing around with Fluid UI.
Yeah, it's in. Yep. If you go to your take home assignment, your take home assignment basically is to do another My Band app.
Right.
Boom. And then your final app edition is what I just showed you, along with all the links I've just showed you already, and even with the one I gave you. This is the Stenstrom one. This is the one I did last semester for demo purposes. So yeah, so have fun with it. Email me as always if you have any questions, but you guys did great tonight. Good. From start to finish, you even got the GitHub submitted, so great. Good job.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we losing people?
No, I had two people actually sick tonight. They called me earlier. So,
Okay, so this is.
and then the other two are online. One person he had to drop out of school altogether. He had he's in the hospital with a leg problem.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the in-class from last week.
Yes.
And this is the one where you wanted it to add 2 more things to it, right? 2 more.
Next week.
Well,
Didn't you want to, wasn't the in-class to do 5 for the in-class and then?
let me pull it up here real quick.
I'm trying to remember what it is now.
5 is due tonight.
Yes. 5 is due tonight. On the end class, if I'm not mistaken, when I did the podcast, you were to basically create a single view app, 5 text fields, embed those text fields in the scroll view, put the keyboard hooks in there, and then test to make sure that it works. So you didn't have to be as fancy as I was on the in-class demo I gave you, which you had. I think I had up there, I had 3 or 4 text boxes at the top,
3 text
2
boxes.
buttons, and then 3 at the bottom, and a text view at the bottom. All you have to have for the in class is 5 text fields at the somewhere on your
Right,
view,
right.
a scroll view, have your hooks in there for your keyboard,
Right.
and that's it.
Okay. So
That way, when I click on stuff, I can see, hey, the keyboard's coming up when I click on it. When I go away, it's going away.
Okay, so for
That's
instance,
it.
this which I just basically built what you had done in the demo with,
Yeah.
with 3.
Right.
So getting this to work, this is basically,
Perfect. Yes, that's perfect.
it's basically working.
And then click away. Yeah.
and
Now
then-
click away onto the canvas.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay,
That's
but you
it.
just want me to add 2 more boxes to
Just
it.
add 2 more boxes. That's
Okay,
all I gotta
got
do.
it.
Yeah, but you got it. Yep, you got it.
And then for the assignment, then,
Yeah, for the take home, you're taking that one step further on the take
and
home.
adding the buttons so that you can.
Yeah, I think I gave you some leeway on that. Let's see here on the take home. The app is going to allow it's a contact database app, allow the user to enter in text fields, all the hooks. Let's see. Oh, on this one, you need first name, last name, address, city,
And
state,
those things
zip
have to show up in the box as
at the top. Yeah.
Well, when you're looking at the box, it's going to say first name, and you start typing in.
Yeah, if you go back to your Xcode for me real quick, click on one of those boxes for me.
All right.
And then go over to the mid tab.
This guy.
Yeah. See where it says placeholder?
Yeah.
That's where you're going to type it
Okay,
in.
got it.
The
Okay.
placeholder is going to be in place of a label for
Got it.
real estate purposes. I definitely recommend that.
Okay. All right.
Because you don't need a label because you got a placeholder. So,
Okay. All right. All right.
okay, so that's
Yeah,
basically what you're doing there.
I can.
And nothing special beyond that. You're basically taking what you did on the in class and adding more fields. It's going to definitely be elongated, right?
Right, but
There'll be more.
let me ask you another stupid question. When the first couple that we did with master view controllers, and
See, buddy.
and, we never went through a process where we were doing anything with this bar.
You don't really need to do it anymore with iOS 7, actually.
Okay,
You
because
notice that? Because when you click and drag an object, right,
Right.
from Xcode to your
Right.
H,
Right.
it automatically creates those outlets. When you right-click on an object, remember the one you had an error with earlier tonight?
Right.
Remember when you renamed something and
Right.
that residual
Right,
was out
right,
there?
right.
Well, whenever Xcode first came out, when you would drag and drop something to the H file, you would do that, create the outlet or action, right?
Right.
You also, after you did that, you also had to drag and drop the control from the view to the object each time to create that object. You had to kind of do 2 things. You had to do the drag and drop from the object to the H, and you had to bind it. With iOS 7, when you drag and drop something from your view to the H file, it automatically creates that action or outlet in the view for you. So
Right.
you really
so
don't.
everything that I was doing down here to mimic what you were doing, you were really doing in a previous version of Xcode, which is not even necessary to do.
Right. Yeah. If you do it again, it's not going to hurt anything.
got it.
As long as the name's the same, it's not going to hurt anything.
Got it.
But it's not going to. You don't have to do it
All right,
anymore.
I understand.
Yep.
I understand from 20,000 feet.
Okay. All right. Good.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, this is like.
And see, what with Xcode too, like let's say let's say in the summer, like all development languages, they have a little changes every once in a while, at least once a year. Well, let's say this next change is now on this next version in the summer let's say now when you add an object from your object to your view, it automatically prompts you now, hey, do you want this to be an action or outlet? And by the way, what H file do you want? They could do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's constantly changing little idiosyncrasy, stuff like that. And those changes come from developers going, it'd be cool and it would save us time if you did this. You know what I'm saying? So they have all these hundreds and thousands of developers.
So how do you keep your sanity if you have a day job programming for X amount of hours a week, and then you come home at night and you have dinner
I'm passionate about it,
and
as you can
with your
tell.
wife, and then you
Yeah.
go at it again?
Yeah. I'm passionate about it. I always have been. So, yeah. And I'm passionate also, too, if I can get to 1 student, 2 students, 5 students, whatever, each semester to kind of get them to want to program, and that maybe they have that desire, but they don't have the skills yet to really get hammered in them to just keep at it, keep going, and to see those same students 5-10 years down the road, flourishing as a programmer. It's just
Well,
awesome.
I mean, it's like any other skill. I mean, I frankly